Huh? What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Ogre Boy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the 1994 movie, The Jungle Book. So in this movie, raised by wild animals since childhood, Mowgli is drawn away from the jungle by the beautiful Kitty, but Mowgli must eventually face corrupt Captain Boone, who wants both Kitty's hand and the treasures of Monkey City, a place only Mowgli can find. This movie, I kind of have mixed feelings on. It's never been one of my favorite movies. I saw like the first 10 minutes of it as a kid, and my aunt made me turn it off because of the scene where Shere Khan attacks the village. And then by the time I did get around to watching it all the way through, I just didn't really find this one all that enjoyable. And everything as a kid, I always found it to be more boring than anything. And not that it's necessarily a bad movie, it just wasn't as fun as I was hoping it would be. And every time I've watched it as an adult, I haven't really liked it. But this one just is, I don't know why, I just can't really get into it. I think the story just isn't that great to me. The action is okay, and there are things about it I like and stuff, but like the story itself, just this version of the Jungle Book just isn't that interesting to me. But I will say I like some things about it. Cary Elwes as Captain Boone is a pretty good, over-the-top, campy villain. He does a pretty good job in here, and you got Sam Neill in here in a supporting role, and I love Sam Neill in anything that I can see him in. He's just a really likable actor, so those two definitely get positives for me. The rest of the cast are okay. The guy who plays Mowgli, Jason Scott Lee, is alright as Mowgli, I guess. I don't really care for him too much as Mowgli. I think he's an okay actor and stuff. I've liked him and other stuff. I just didn't really care for him too much as Mowgli. I just thought he was okay. Personally, I feel like they should have got someone from India descent to play Mowgli instead of having a Hawaiian actor play him, to be honest. And everything, it just kind of takes me out of the movie because it's obvious that he's just not the right part for Mowgli. And I don't really like that they don't make the animals talk, so they don't really have personalities or anything. And everything. I do respect that they used live animals though, and everything. I thought that was pretty cool that they used live animals throughout the movie and everything. I thought that was pretty cool. The thing I didn't like at the end of it was the way Mowgli just kind of becomes a Mary Sue, and everybody just starts to like him and stuff, and even Shere Khan likes him and everything. It didn't work for me. I just didn't really like the way they wrote Mowgli's character, and I've never really been one that's interested in an adult version of Mowgli. Like Peter Pan and Mowgli, I think are just characters that are better suited as kid characters and everything, and I just never really been that interested in an adult version of Mowgli. But this was an interesting take on the story. It's not something that I personally enjoyed very much, but I do say that I like that they tried to do stuff differently with this version of the story and everything. And I don't know how much it follows the Jungle Book story in the book, because I don't really remember the book very well. I don't even know if I actually read the real book. I've read a lot of Jungle Books, but I don't think I've actually read a real version of it that wasn't like just a copied version, if that makes sense. But this movie is just, like I said, I think it's just kind of bland, and and forgettable is one of its biggest problems. I don't hate it near as much as I remembered. I didn't really like this one. Like I said, I don't care for it, but it's not quite as bad as I remember. Like I said, some of the acting is good. There's some fun moments that when the guy gets stuck in the quicksand. I always did like that scene. Even as a kid, I thought that scene was pretty cool. And the cinematography and stuff looks really good in here, and it has a pretty decent score and stuff, and awesome practical sets. So there is some good things about this movie. Just like I said, I'm not really invested in this version of the story as much as I am the other versions of it. Like I like the 2016 version quite a bit, and as I said in my review for the 1967 animated version, that's one of my favorite movies of all time. So to me, that's the definitive version of the Jungle Book for me. But this one is just okay. I don't love it, but I don't hate it as much as I used to. I'll just say that. I don't really hate it, but I don't really like it either, if that makes sense. It's not very good. It's not one that I like rewatching very often. I probably won't rewatch it again. This is probably going to be the last time I watched it. I mainly just rewatched it for this review and everything, but I never have been able to get into this one and everything. So I'd say I'd give this one a 4 out of 10. Like I said, there are a few things I like about it and everything, and it does have some fun moments. It just doesn't feel like a Jungle Book movie and everything. I think if this would have been called something else and been something a little different, I would have enjoyed it a little bit more and everything. But I prefer the traditional story of the Jungle Book that we see in other versions, even like the Mowgli that was on Netflix a few years ago. I'd prefer to watch that one over this one, and I thought that movie was pretty decent. I might have to review it sometime too. But yeah, so I'd say I'd give, like I said, I'd give it a 4 out of 10. It's just pretty mediocre to me. Not super great. It's not one of my favorites and everything. I can understand why some people would enjoy it and get fun out of the campiness, and because the campiness is kind of fun and everything, but it just, I don't know, I just felt like this movie could have been a lot better. And it's from the director of the Mummy movies, which I think when I found that out, when I went to rewatch it, that also played in a factor of my disappointment, because I love those movies so much, and I feel like he hasn't ever really made anything as good since the Mummy movies. He's done a few decent movies, but I don't feel like he's ever been able to live up to as good as those are. And this was even before those, so but anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of the Jungle Book from 1994, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.